There has never been a better, but also more confusing time to buy Moza sim racing gear. The prices are the lowest they've ever been, but Moza isn't just any longer the affordable direct drive sim racing brand. Yes, they obviously make the incredibly popular Moza R3 and the Moza R5, but they also now have products that go right up to the very serious high-end hardware range, like the Moza R21 Ultra, like the Moza R25 True Torque Ultra as well. And I'm in a pretty unique position to talk about this because I've been testing Moza equipment for years and years and years now. One of the few people in the world who's actually been hands-on with everything Moza has to offer ever since they came into the market. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to break down the Moza R3, the Moza R5, the Moza R9, the Moza R12, the Moza R21 Ultra, and the Moza R25 True Torque Ultra. Which one is kind of maybe the best for you? Which ones are the ones to avoid actually in certain price ranges? This video is sponsored by Moza, big thanks to Moza, but I'm not really comparing other brands. I'm just telling you what's right and what's not right for you in the ecosystem, in my opinion. So let's start here with the Moza R3, and I was expecting to, in this video, talk about the Moza R3 and say, look, for $279 on PC, you can get a direct drive wheelbase, which is like really small and like very cute, for 3.9 Newton meters. And you also get the SRP light pedals, which are not the best pedals in my opinion, but they're kind of solid, you know, entry-level pedals. And also you get the ES rim, which is quite a good actual bundled rim for $279. But Moza have just done a sale, coincidentally, and that is now $259. And that is insane value. That's on PC. The Xbox version is now $319. Now, those prices will go up slightly when the sale ends, but they're still pretty incredible prices if you don't have a steering wheel or pedals yet. Because if you already have a steering wheel or pedals, I actually wouldn't recommend this. But if you don't, let's say you want a controller, let's say you want to jump into sim racing or racing games, you watch Formula One, let's say, or you're getting into endurance racing and you just want to get involved on the gaming side, the sim side, I would say this is perfect for you if you don't already have a wheel and pedals, because this is the latest generation of technology. It's a direct drive wheelbase, which means that the motor is directly connected to the shaft. Now, if you're looking at belt and gear driven wheels, they use belts and gears to amplify the strength of the motor to give you more feeling. That means that with gears, they can be noisier. With belts, they can overheat. There's more stuff going on there to amplify, whereas the R3 isn't doing that. So if you don't have anything already, I actually thoroughly recommend the R3. If you already have a belt or gear-driven wheel, I wouldn't recommend the R3. It's unlikely that the pedals are going to be significantly better, and you're not going to get a massive jump in actual like strength of the wheel. You will get a bit of a jump most likely, but it won't be a massive jump. So if you have a wheel or pedals already, I would recommend that you skip the R3 and you go higher up. Now the next bundle, price bracket bundle we're going to talk about is the Moza R5. Now this also comes in the bundle for $379. You can get this base, which peaks at 5.5 Newton meters. You get the same rim as you get in the R3 bundle, and you get the same SRP light pedals, which don't have a load cell, by the way. Now for me, I wouldn't recommend this actually. If you already have an R3, I wouldn't recommend it as a jump up. And if you don't have a wheel or pedals already, I actually wouldn't really recommend this. This is very tempting at $379. You're going to get 5.5 Newton meters, so it's a bit stronger. But I would say for $120 more than what you're getting in the R3 bundle, you're not getting a massive jump up in the power from 3.9 to 5.5, and you're getting the same pedals and the same rim. That's just the way I look at it. So just telling you honestly, what I would get instead, and now we're approaching, I would say, the sweet spot for a lot of people. This is definitely the sweet spot if you already have a belt or gear driven wheel and you're looking to go direct drive. This is the Moza R9, which I have on a separate rig at the moment. It kind of actually looks like the R5. The Moza R9, the base itself is $299, which is very, very, very good value. However, I just checked online and they're doing some very interesting bundles now that I've asked Moza to do for a long time. So you can get the Moza R9 base, which on its own $299, with the Moza KS rim, which is a really good GT rim that I really like. And you can also get Moza's brand new SRP2 pedals, which are load cell pedals. And that comes to, have a guess, $559. Okay, now we're talking, because this is exactly $300 more than the R3 bundle. However, I think the rim is worth $100 more, probably more. I think the pedals are worth $100 more, probably more. And I think going from 3.9 Newton meters to 9 Newton meters in the R9 is definitely worth $100 more. So I think this is the real sweet spot bundle. And if you're watching this video and you really want to get something from Moza, and that sounds about right, it's probably going to be a fantastic bundle for you. By the way, if you do decide to buy Moza at any point, please use my affiliate links, really helps me out. And also go to simrigger.com and filter by Moza, where it also has all the latest prices, and you can just compare everything there. Now, worth saying that the reason why the R9 I think is in a good sweet spot is it's a 9 Newton meter. Even when I'm running really powerful wheelbases like the R25 or the R21, I'm often turning them down. I'm often turning them down to like 8 or 9 Newton meters. So when you've got the R9 already at 9 Newton meters, you basically reached a point where any strength above that, I would say, becomes a bit subjective. Now, there's lots of discussion about clipping in the community. My honest thoughts on this is that I think discussions about clipping are a little bit overstated. Yes, there is clipping, there is saturation. However, I think it's something used a lot by people who want higher end wheelbases to kind of justify it. I would save the money and have clipping. Like, that's just the way I look at it generally. Okay, so the Moza R9 really in the sweet spot. Now, the Moza R12 is the next one up from the Moza R9. That base comes in at $399 on its own. Now, there's an obvious question here. Would I recommend the Moza R12 at $399 or the Moza R9 at $299? I would recommend the Moza R9. I would save the $100. I don't think $100 is going to be worth it going from 9 to 12, as opposed to going from a KS rim to a KS Pro rim with a screen. So I personally, in Moza, I would save that $100 and I would spend it on an extra rim instead, or maybe an upgraded rim. You can actually get pretty close to getting the ES rim as well, so you could have a circular rim as well. But I would use that money elsewhere in Moza. That's what I would do. But the Moza R12, I want to tell you about. Now, there is actually something above the Moza R12 called the Moza R16 that I haven't included here. I do have it. I've used it for a long time, but it's quite an old wheelbase from Moza. It's very old style. However, it does go on pretty crazy discount, and it has a lot of brute force in it. So that's one to check on SimRigger, because as it comes in out of stock on clearance and stuff, you can see it there. But I'm going to go to next the Moza R21 Ultra and the Moza R25 Ultra, which are the top of the range wheelbases from Moza. And I'm going to try and answer a very important question that a lot of people have asked me, which is the Moza R25 True Torque Ultra is $899. The Moza R21 Ultra is $699. Is it worth $200 more for the Moza R25 True Torque Ultra? That's the ultimate question. Now, I would say, bear in mind that Moza provided these wheelbases to me, so I have not gone out and really and ahed with my own money about spending $899 or $699. However, I'll tell you honestly that when I decide to use Moza wheels and stuff and test them, I always use the Moza R25. I can't explain why. There is one hardware difference I know of between these two, and it is a torque sensor. I can't tell you enough in depth about how a torque sensor works, but my feeling is that when it comes to the low frequency effects, when it comes to all the telemetry stuff, I feel like the R25 True Torque Ultra can kind of deal with a lot of the different effects better than the R21. So if you want to have something that's like brute forced, pound for pound or dollar for dollar, the most Newton meters for your money, go R21 Ultra. It's got 21 Newton meters. It's got all that headroom. You won't have to worry about clipping. You'll never need to really upgrade it from a power perspective. All of the rims in Moza work on it. You can go for that and feel great. However, if you want to get something that's like top of the range Moza for $200 more, if you're already looking in this price range, you're going to be pairing it with good pedals and good rims, I would go for the Moza R25 True Torque Ultra. It feels to me a little bit like the top of the range iPhone models, like the Pro or the Max ones or whatever, or you know, those kind of products where it's like this is their real top of the range best product. And I think the torque sensor might be the thing that's doing a bit of heavy lifting there. So hopefully you found this video really helpful. If you have any questions, let me in the comments. I'll try and put some videos on screens that are like reviews that I've done and videos I've done on these different products here. And let me know if you want to see me do pedals and stuff like that as well. I would love to. And I'll see you in the next video.